I still see it. What did I miss?
The day remains indelibly seared in David Goldman's mind. June 16th, 2004. As he drove to New Jersey's Newark Airport, it had all seemed so normal, right up to the moment he kissed his wife Bruna, his 4-year-old son Sean, and Bruna's parents goodbye.
Love, hugs, kisses. We did the thing, I love you, like we always did as they were walking through Big Jetway.
It was supposed to be a 2-week vacation in Brazil, with David joining the family for the last half of the trip. But right after Bruna landed in Rio, David got a devastating call.
It was a voice from her that if I didn't know it was her, I wouldn't even recognize it. Our marriage is over. Our love affair is over. I decided to stay in Brazil. So clear, she said this, so unemotional.
Never gave you a reason, just that it was over.
It was over. She wants to be back in her country.
It got worse. Bruna had a list of demands.
To sign away full custody of Sean to her and to never press any criminal charges against her. And I'm like, what?
When you hung up that phone, David, what did you do?
I was shocked. I think I was like just dropped.
David collapsed, his heart pounding, his head spinning.
Hi, Mama.
Just like that, Bruna was gone, and she was trying to take away his beloved little boy, the thing he cherished more than anything in the world.
Oh, what's the matter, my buddy?
He was so beside himself. He was so upset. I could hardly understand him.
Gene Quigley has been David's buddy since they were teenagers. When David told him the shocking news, Gene assured him that Bruna probably just needed to calm down.
I just thought maybe she's just confused, or maybe she just needed some time and that she would be back.
But Bruna kept calling, sounding panicked. David started recording her as she pleaded with him to fly to Brazil to sign over custody of Sean, promising if he did, she'd bring Sean home for visits every few months. But if he didn't, things would get ugly.
We can't together do the thing friendly. But if you're not going to come here, the thing is going to change.
You're threatening me, too.
I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you.
If I go to the courts or if I go to the police, he won't come home, and I'll never see him again.
But you didn't go to Brazil.
No, I spoke to several attorneys, and each one of them said, do not step foot in that country.
She wanted David to come down, but it was with the caveat of, so we can take care of all of this here.
Patricia Appy, the New Jersey attorney David hired, specializes in international custody cases. She suspected Bruna's rush to get him to Brazil was about forcing him into a court that would do what she wanted. In fact, she was already laying the groundwork with lies.
She had filed a cause of action in which she had alleged Sean had been there for an extended period of time, that he had already been enrolled in school, giving the court the impression that this was a planned separation. And so it looked to us that this was a setup.
If he ever wanted Sean to come home, Appy told David his best bet was to file for help under something called the Hague Convention on the civil aspects of international child abduction.
It's an international treaty that Brazil, U.S., and 70 other countries are party to. Its sole purpose is to remedy international parental child abduction. And if I jumped on a plane and gone down to a local family court in Rio, I would give up the Hague and who knows what else.
Under the Hague Convention, a custody hearing must take place where the child normally lives, which meant New Jersey, not Brazil. And it was up to Brazil to send Sean back to the U.S. quickly, ideally within 6 weeks.
You believed at that point, I'm not going to go to Brazil, and within 6 weeks, Sean will be back here, and it'll be resolved here.
Yes.
On U.S. soil.
Yes.
Agonizing as it was, David waited, clinging to the occasional calls when Bruna allowed Sean to get on the phone.
Hi, Dada.
Hey, Sean. When you guys come back, I'm going to give you the biggest hug and kiss and pick you up and put you on my shoulders. And we're best friends forever. My heart beats for you.
Oh, Dada.
Yeah?
I love you forever.
I love you forever, buddy. We're best friends. Who's your best friend?
You.
Dave really, despite wanting to cry, was very upbeat with all his conversation with Sean. Dave never ever gave any hint to Sean that something was wrong.
But every day without his son was harrowing.
You just saw someone whose heart was broken and who didn't believe he was in the circumstance he was in.
No one believed it. No one believed it. Anybody that knew her, knew me, knew us, no one believed it.
Do you think that maybe you missed something there, that there was some clue?
That's where I feel like the biggest idiot. I wouldn't have driven them to the airport if I had any slight thought that would be the last time I'd see them.
Bruna's friends were just as baffled. Michelle Langdon was a fellow teacher. Casey Fillion was her fitness instructor. And Karen Bott, David's college friend, had instantly bonded with his wife.
It makes me mad. Makes me feel betrayed as a friend. Person I knew never would have done this. Not to Sean and not to David.
I couldn't sleep for days. None of us could. It was just a terrible thing thinking, did she say anything? What we could have done to help.
Uh-oh, near the camera.
All three women say Bruna never so much as hinted at wanting to leave. But in the call she made from Brazil, she claimed she'd been miserable in New Jersey.
I don't want to live in New Jersey anymore!
Why are you screaming at me, Bruna?
I don't want to! It's not my place!
I'm sure...
Understand this!
Had the girl who married David Goldman, the international model, just become disillusioned with the reality of suburban life? In Brazil, she'd lived a pampered, moneyed life, growing up with nannies and chauffeurs.
She had a privileged life, and we all knew it.
She would brag, in Brazil, we have bulletproof cars that we drive around in. If you had money in her eyes, then you were better.
Bruna's brother is an actor who has appeared in Brazilian soaps. And Bruna had implied that she, too, craved the limelight.
Whenever she would go home, her friends were in more of the high society life. It did seem she wanted a little bit more of a glamorous life.
Hi, Mommy.
Still, whatever motivated Bruna to ditch David so abruptly, no one could understand taking Sean away from such a doting father.
Dude, what noise did he make?
He was so attached to his dad. I couldn't conceive that she would do something like that.
But David's nightmare was just beginning.
It was a man's voice telling me, prepare to die.